Hey babes, it's Juju Bae and welcome to Juju Tube. By now your third eye should be tingling, telling you to what? Like, comment, subscribe, and turn those notifications on so you don't have to be psychic to know when the new episodes drop, okay?
All you need is a little juju. All you need is a little juju. All you need is a little juju. All you need is all you need. All you need is a little juju. All you need is a little juju. All you need is a little juju. All you need is all you need. A little juju is the play.
I really thought that it was important for me to do a Q&A episode where basically I asked on Instagram some questions that you all may have for me that you always wanted to know. Y'all gave me some great questions, and I also included some basic ones that y'all didn't necessarily share with me on Twitter or on Instagram. Follow me at ITSJUJUBAE. Okay, so I'm going to be looking at my phone a bit just to see the questions. So where am I from? I am from Baltimore, Maryland, born and raised there. Although I am currently located in New York, I am Baltimore till I die. Not too much on my city. Only people from Baltimore can talk about us. Please don't send me no videos of people saying blue to all of that. We get it.
I can't lose when I'm with you. How can I snooze it, miss the moment?
How did I get into hoodoo? So for those of you who don't know, hoodoo is an African American spiritual system, cultural system, religion, lore, the psychiatry of the Black American. I hate to quote a white man, but Ralph Cooner really ate with that description. He did. And because I'm a practitioner of hoodoo and I descend from hoodoos, meaning other people in my family, ancestors who I actually didn't have a relationship with, they passed before I was born. So my great-grandmother, my great-great-grandmother, I have a great uncle. All of them were conjurers, hoodoos, midwives, root workers in some capacity. And I got into hoodoo because I just started to become interested in ancestors, and in particular, and maybe I should probably have an episode about this, but I had a really intense dream from one of my foremothers in my ancestry, whose name is Eliza Hilton, I learned to know. And she basically is who called me into the practice. I don't think that she was a hoodoo, she could have been, but she was a slave. And when I saw basically a day in the life of a slave in one of probably the most vivid dream that I've ever had, I knew that, well, I didn't know immediately, but I came to learn that that was me having a specific calling over my life to really focus on hoodoo generally, as well as different Africana spiritual systems as a way to like heal through my ancestors and my ancestries. Okay, so the next question is, what's your zodiac sign? What's your zodiac sign? What's your zodiac sign? Recipes, Fat Man Scoop. My zodiac sign is Cancer. Water. I'm a water baby down. Okay. Cancer sun, Scorpio moon, Cancer rising. Okay. Chaos, confusion, tears. This is all tropical. I also really respect and love Vedic or sidereal astrology. They're kind of different, but Vedic and sidereal astrology. So in that, I'm technically a Gemini sun, a Libra moon, and a Gemini rising. After having multiple sidereal astrology readings, I do understand how I could be perceived and understood as a Gemini, even if it's just for the amount of talking and platforms that I have. Like, my work really revolves around me running my mouth. Very Gemini coded. How long have I been psychic? I get this question a lot, like, how long have I been working my gifts? I was not always a super psychic woo-woo baby. I was a regular child. I was a normal kid going through normal child stuff, a normal Baltimore life. I didn't develop my gifts until way into my mid-20s. So I was an adult. So I was not seeing spirits when I was young. I was doing light healing work unintentionally, but I wasn't talking to the dead and, praying. I wasn't doing none of that, child. I was just living my life, worried about the same thing kids is worried about, until I was an adult, to really, where I think my ancestors were like, okay, and now she's ready. Let's turn up the heat. And that they did. How was writing a book? Was it difficult? Difficult? No. Does it take a lot of discipline? Yes. But thankfully, I'm a very disciplined person. Like, if I say I'm going to do something and I need to get a deadline done, I need to do the work, I need to pour a lot of myself out, like, I can do that. It wasn't hard. It just takes a lot of time management and discipline, and a lot of saying no to things that you may want to do outside of writing. Like, your life has to kind of be about the text and the work in the book. And so, you end up spilling out a lot of no's to good events, good parties, to your loved ones. Like, I'm writing. And I think that is the difficult part. But getting the words on the paper with just consistency and discipline, I actually found that to be easy. No, but manageable. How did you find your elders and community? Oh, finding my elders has been a process, and I still think I'm always looking and searching and trying to find more people and more community members. Like I said before, I started out on Facebook. I don't know what goes on there now, but back in 2017, maybe even 16, but 17, 18, like, that was really a sweet spot for people who were interested in like ancestral work and veneration, because we were just taking over Facebook. We had like a whole section. And was it messy? Absolutely. But did I find a lot of folks that I'm still in community with today from social media at that time? I did. And I think through those relationships, you meet other people, you start talking about your practice, you meet other people around you who are interested in the same things. And that's kind of how my community grew. As far as to elders, a lot of them have been like not a lot of them, a couple of them have been like by referral, almost like, oh, I think you would really align with this person, or, oh, you should meet blah, blah. I know him, I know her. I'll connect you to them. And that's kind of how that works. So my elders really did come from community and people that I already knew, and even friends before who weren't even in the tradition who are now in it, who have introduced me to folks. So yeah, it takes time. I know that's a whole thing, but it has taken time, and I've even just got a new elder within the past year. So there's always an opportunity when you're ready for a different kind of elder or a new elder. They do come. Were you excited about shaving your head for your practice? So like I said, I am a priestess, and so within my tradition, when you do initiate, for the most part, not everybody, you do have to shave your head it's like giving an offering to the spirit, to the Orisha, as like a rebirth, a renewal. That is what initiation is. Like, you're starting off as a baby. So babies, they don't got a lot of hair. So I don't know if I was excited about cutting my hair, because I used to have pretty long hair, to be honest. I had pretty long hair, but I knew that I would always initiate. So I tried to start to create a relationship to my hair where I loved it. I loved that I had my big fro. I loved I could flat iron it, and I had my curls, and I just really enjoyed it. But I knew that I would have to let that go. So I started to kind of create, I won't even say a distance with my hair, but we came to an understanding that one day it would be gone and I would grow it back. I don't know. I think there's a different energy that happens when you do shave your head. And I'm really embracing this look, this feeling, my ori, is what we call like, kind of like our character, our highest self, our right mind kind of sits here. And so like my ori is like really out and just has room. So that feels good. What is it like being queer in your spiritual community and during your initiation journey? Ooh. So I identify as bisexual, and I do often get a lot of questions about, can you be queer? Can you be gay? In these Africana systems. And I would say some of them it's easier to be queer than others. You know, it really just depends on who your elders are and who your spiritual community is. In my case, I have a spiritual house that is, in regards to the Orisha, that is very queer leaning. I would say majority of the people there are queer and or gender nonconforming. So for that, it's very easy. But I will say, you know, going to Nigeria, which is where I initiated with practicing traditional, indigenous, really, Yoruba spiritual systems. In Nigeria, there is more of a clear dichotomy of, you know, man, woman, and the language around GNC and gender nonconforming in today's age, in modern, you know, Nigerian culture, is not how it is in the US. It's quite different. And so you do get those, you know, that is something that you have to think about and contend with and see what pieces of it matter more or less. It's actually really a complex topic to talk about. But overall, I mean, you asked about what my experience was. My experience was very positive, and thankfully who we are connected with, Ma'aluo and everyone in Nigeria, they're cool. Like, even if they don't even fully always get it, I wouldn't know because they don't say anything out loud to us. So they're very warm and loving and kind. So I had a great experience, but I also know that I have a very specific experience because of how I identify, what I look like. I feel like I'm very straight passing. You know, I do identify as a Black woman, so that may be different for someone else. How did taking a break from altar work affect your relationships with your ancestors? This person toured with this question. A lot of people don't know, I guess I'll share this now, that I don't currently have an ancestor altar built up, not a proper altar, and I haven't for some months now. Actually, quite shortly after the book came out, where I'm talking about building altars. Short is because I felt like my ancestors and I really were deeply on different pages around one really important occurrence or experience in my life. And I felt that they actually needed some time and space away from me in order to address, to move through and heal some of the things that I felt were actually holding me back because of their own preconceived notions, because of their own traumas and their own understandings. And we just needed space. So just like we take space from our friends, how we take space from our families, we can take space from our ancestors. That doesn't always mean that you are kind of removing your altar, but in my case, that is what it has looked like. I'm still in conversation with my ancestors all the time. I do readings with them all the time. So it's not like we're not talking, but the rituals that and the ways that I was interacting with them before have shifted. And so I think that taking a break from your spirits is really, really good. And especially from our ancestors, because they can be a lot. They have a lot going on. They have a lot of thoughts. They have a lot of opinions, and we're not always going to agree with them. And sometimes we need to take space so that we know what we think first. Or I'll say, I need to take space because I need to know what I think, and then I can know what y'all think. And our relationship has actually strengthened since taking space, time, and reassessing and redeveloping how we talk. And the last question that I got is, how has spirituality shifted your mindset towards community, justice, and love? This is a huge question because I think my spiritual practices have completely shattered what I thought I knew about love, about politics, around race, around justice, all of that. And I don't even know how to make this like a quick answer because I would be talking your head off about this. But I think when you start to really understand more of beyond just what is happening in your location where you are, even in your city or in your country, and you start to think about the deep impacts, like spiritually, on the world. We're thinking about relations between other beings and entities. We're thinking about justice, destiny, our own individual paths, collective paths, what liberation actually can be, what it can't be. I think I just started to have to question all of those things, because prior I was very rooted in like the world, what's going on in the world, how we are in the world of the world. And I think that that's very important. But when you start to understand more about spirit, our ancestors' impacts on the things that we are even experiencing today, other people's spirits, spiritual warfare, you can start to get a kind of broadened understanding of like what is actually going on. And it's not just what we see going on. You know what I mean? I'm not even trying to get too deep or woo-woo about it. It's just, you get a larger vision and framework of really the state of the world, of the state of love, what it means to really love someone, to show up for them, because you start to learn what love looks like when you're loving someone who has passed on, when you're loving a grandmother who has gone on. And like you have like building relationship to spirit and deepening your spirituality, and then also including other methodologies, other what's the word I want? Like understandings of how the world was created based on different spiritual principles, based on Ifa or whatever. You start to be able to make a little bit more sense of, and even lose some sense around what's going on. So that's kind of the long and short of it. It radically will shift what you thought that you knew and make you realize that you don't know anything about anything. And that's the beauty. Thank y'all so much for these wonderful, wonderful questions. If I should do another Q&A, let me know, or whatever else y'all want to see on JujuTube, tell me in the comments. It was great to chat with y'all, and I will see you next time on JujuTube. Later. All you need is a little juju. Bye, y'all.